We've all been told the same lie. You pick an MMO, you create your character, and that's it. You've signed a lifetime contract. You are now a dedicated disciple of a single universe. We become obsessed with finding that one forever game, but let's be honest, what happens when forever gets boring? What happens when you're staring at the login screen feeling zero excitement for the daily grind you're about to endure? Today we're breaking the rules. We're talking about why you should stop trying to settle down with just one MMO and why becoming a digital nomad might actually save your love for the genre. Welcome to the Eternal Alt. I'm Dak, and if you love MMOs and narrative-driven games and deep dive commentary, hit that subscribe button. Let's dive into why you might want to start playing multiple MMOs. The most discussed issue with committing to a single MMO is simple math. Development cycles can't keep up with human consumption. A dev team takes 2 years to build an expansion, and a dedicated community burns through it in 2 weeks. When you only play one game, a content drought feels like a personal crisis. You start resent testing the game, running the same daily routines out of pure habit rather than actual enjoyment. But when you juggle a couple of different games, a drought in one is just an invitation to explore another. When your primary game hitches into a 3-month dry spell, you don't get frustrated, you just shift your focus. You log out of the rigid raid schedule and you log into a world with completely different mechanics. You keep the experience fresh because you aren't forcing a single game to be your entire entertainment ecosystem. Playing multiple MMOs also turns you into a bit of a genre connoisseur. If you stay inside one house forever, you lose perspective. You start to think that long, agonizing gear verticality or restrictive class locks are just the way things have to be. Leaving your comfort zone acts as a massive palate cleanser. When you bounce between worlds, you start to deeply appreciate what makes each one unique. You can admire the storytelling and the cinematic polish of one title while fully enjoying the fluid traversal and horizontal freedom of another. Instead of fighting with a game because it doesn't give you everything, you appreciate it for what it does well, knowing you can get your other gaming fixes elsewhere. Then there's the psychological trap almost every single MMO player falls into: the clock in. You know the feeling. You come home from a long day of actual work or school, sit down at your desk, boot up your game, and you immediately open a mental spreadsheet. I need to do my daily roulettes. I need to clear my weekly lockouts and farm these specific materials before the server reset. Suddenly you're not playing a video game anymore, you're managing an unpaid part-time job where the boss is an RNG loot table. Exclusive commitment allows developers to explore your FOMO. They design systems to keep you logging in every single day regardless of whether you're having fun. But introducing a second or third game into your rotation completely breaks that psychological hold. Why? Because you physically cannot keep up with the chores of 3 different MMOs. It forces you to look at a checklist and say, nah, not today. You regain your power as a player. The world doesn't end if you miss a week of dailies in one game, especially if you were having an absolute blast exploring or unlocking a major feature in another. Now, the obvious counter-argument is time. I have a life, I have a job, responsibilities, I barely have time for one character, let alone 3 different games. And that's entirely true. If you try to play 3 different MMOs at a competitive high-end hardcore level, you'll burn out by Tuesday. The secret to multi-MMO gaming isn't doubling your playtime, it's changing your mindset. You have to embrace being, the Eternal Alt. You pick one game to be your current focus. Maybe it just dropped a massive expansion or sounds like the most fun right now. That's where your progression energy goes. Your secondary games, they're your playgrounds. You log into them to chip away at long-term cosmetic achievements, experiment with different classes, or just soak in a different kind of atmosphere. You control the games don't control you. The MMO genre is too vast and these worlds are too beautifully put together to spend your entire gaming life staring at the same city square. Breaking the single game trap doesn't mean you love your favorite game any less, it just means you value your fun more than a digital checklist. So don't be afraid to leave the hub, create that new character in a completely different universe, and see what else is out there. This mindset saved my love for the genre, but I want to hear from you. Are you a one-game loyalist, or are you currently rotating through a few different worlds? Let me know in the comments below which games are keeping you hooked right now. Drop a like if you needed an excuse to download that second MMO. Subscribe for more adventures across the digital landscape, and I'll see you in the next video.